And then the Lakers with one more shot here. LeBron, it's deep, but it's a good look. Can't quite get that to go. Don't worry, he's got one more shot. Can't get it to fall. The Lakers lose 197. Here's Luka Doncic after the game.
Obviously, it's going to take a little time. Today, a lot of rustiness from my part. So start the game with like 4 or 5 turnovers. That can't happen. So it's got to, play the basketball the right way.
I mean, it's just, like you said, it's his third game since Christmas, and it's his third game with us in the sense of just trying to, still doesn't know all the plays, he doesn't know all the defensive coverages, all the signals and things that we've built since September. So, obviously we're trying to fast track it on the fly. He's coming back from his injury. He's getting back into form, so we're all working through it together.
So Luka admitted he's just a little rusty. It's not a huge surprise, right, considering he's ramping up after missing 2 months prior to his Mavs exit and his Lakers debut. Doncic has seen his numbers drop off from that time, right, to his beginning of playing in LA here. But to be fair, it's only been 3 games here, Brian. When you are diagnosing this, what cost the Lakers this game last night?
Yeah, their offense just isn't there. They scored 97 points in this game on their home floor. And even before Austin Reeves went out of the game, which, by the way, Rodney Mott, that official who threw him out, for decades has been known as having a quick trigger. Austin Reeves learned that lesson the hard way. But they just haven't gotten their offense going. And, while, Chiney broke that nice play down where they all 3 played off each other, that's been the exception rather than the rule. When you watch them play, you often see Luka sort of passing and then standing on the wing and watching Austin Reeves go to work, or, feeding LeBron and then sort of getting out of the way. There's been very little so far of them playing together. And quite frankly, Luka's legs aren't there. He just doesn't look very good. Those stats showed it. I know there was some discussion after the game about who should have had the last shot.
Yeah.
There really wasn't a discussion. Luka is 5 of 24 on 3 since he's been a Laker. He was 1 of 9 in this game. They had to go LeBron's direction in this. So I think when they get some more reps and they can find some sets that work together, they need to do that. I actually think Tuesday's game, I know they've got a few before that, next Tuesday when the Mavericks come in, let Luka go in that one. I think Luka needs to get back to being Luka.
Yeah.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, the ball's got to be in his hands. He's got to be the one attacking. He can't be deferring.
Right, and at that game, when he's hosting his former team here in Los Angeles on Tuesday, maybe that's the game that's sort of a fire for him. But as you mentioned, they got to keep cooking before then. They have the Trailblazers tonight. Chiney, what did you see in this one?
Okay, there was one game in the league yesterday, so we're going to break it down, and I'm going to bring it with my brother. Got Danny here with me. Now, this matchup came down to one thing, crunch time. The Lakers lost, the Hornets won due to late game execution. So rolling my tape, producer Jarrett, baby, again, 2 minutes and a half left in the game. Yo, this is not like game tempo. You're not cutting hard. You're not moving quick. We know Luka's still trying to get himself back to form. And now it's just sort of like pass and watch. Now, Luka can normally cook in this situation, but that's a tough contest. He has to shoot it really high to be able to knock this one down. But again, unfortunately, it did not go down. And we saw this play now, final possession of the game, 6 seconds left. LeBron James open. There's the muck that you want to get a good-looking shot, but he's so deep. Could you look at Luka Doncic potentially? Do you want to pass on the ball? I'm not mad with LeBron taking the shot. He made 4 threes on the night. Again, a good, solid contest. He was high, gets another look. And when you're in that shooting rhythm, you know that, Danny.
Yes.
You feel like you can make those types of shots.
Yes.
Luka, LeBron combined for 15 of 40. It's going to be very, very difficult to win, especially in clutch time when you're shooting that type of figure.
Yes, there wasn't a lot of great offense last night, but there was some at the end for Charlotte, and there was LaMelo. So Lakers didn't look great offensively down the stretch, but LaMelo, he got the one-on-one he wanted. He said, let me have this dance. Luka Doncic, little couple between, has he crossed, get to the paint, dish it off to Mark Williams, could have been a Laker. And this could have been an end one, but he made some good plays down the stretch, which iced the game for them. They made big shots time and time again down the stretch. But LaMelo was the guy.
You see the standoff?
Getting Finney Smith off him, getting Vanderbilt. He's also a better defender, but a weaker defender than Finney Smith. Get his between, get to his right hand, get his float, ice the game. They're up 4 at this point. And then he also had some big free throws to call the game. Celebrates, Tokyo-ish a little bit. News, where you from, you know? This is Melo.
Not Ball Brothers tweaker.
Yeah, no, he caught the ball at the top and he turned, he bent that corner. You know what I'm saying? But if you do notice on those plays, there's no rim protection. So once you beat one, that was a big concern that Dallas was like, hey,
the one time
there's some liability
Jackson
there.
Hayes was there. He dropped it off to Mark Williams.
Exactly.
The second time, he got the floater.
And that's why they need that center position. But if you do look at this ball, I can't believe, oh my gosh, I didn't know we actually put it up
That's
there.
what I was saying. You thought I just said that out of the blue? No, I thought that was crazy. Shout out to our graphics
You got it like that, though, Malika. You
know what? This is why, games like this is why he is so many young folks' favorite player. Hey, hook 'em. Kevin Durant makes his return to Texas University tonight to face the Spurs. Durant played one season for the Longhorns and led the conference in points, rebounds, blocks, culminating in winning the Naismith AP Player of the Year and basically every other collegiate award there is to win. Here's Durant on how it feels to be playing back in Austin tonight.
Extremely excited, just to come back here and play a game, a regular season game. I think I played a preseason game here before. But to play a regular season game where we need every one of these games, it should be fun. I had so many great memories off the court. We used to pile in a Justin Mason or one of my boys, Randy Williams' car, and we used to go to the mall every weekend, buy our clothes for what we bought, and then we would walk around on 6th Street. Every Saturday night, we was hanging out on 6th Street, 6th, just piling out of a Cavalier. Those are the most memorable times, hanging out with those dudes roaming around 6th Street. But we did everything together, man. It was a great time.
Durant had one of the most accomplished freshman seasons in college basketball history. It was a preview of what was to come in his NBA career. Durant is one of 2 players in Texas history to score 20,000 points in their NBA career. The other is LaMarcus Aldridge. Our Tim MacMahon joins us now. Tim, what does playing back at Texas mean for Kevin Durant here?
Howdy, Malika. This is a Spurs home game technically, but it's absolutely a homecoming for Kevin Durant. And this is the one stop of his journey since high school where there were no complications on the exit. There's no, buts on the legacy. He will always be a legend here at Texas. You just heard him talk about some of his fondest memories here. And they're simple things. They're squeezing into a Chevy Cavalier, as a college freshman going and hanging out on 6th Street. And, warm memories, fond memories for him. But this can't just be about Kevin Durant walking down memory lane because it is a regular season game for the Phoenix Suns. They have to climb up to get into the play-in standings. There's been a lot of, there was a lot of drama heading into the trade deadline. Coming out of the trade deadline, including Kevin Durant himself being dangled, in discussions. I talked to Devin Booker after shoot-around today, and as excited as he is about this, this game for Kevin Durant, he basically says, hey, we all heard all the noise. We're a group of professionals. We've got to lock in and get it done with this group. And for Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns, that has to start tonight.
Yeah, but we know that Kevin Durant, he loves to put on a show. And being back, I want to make sure I get this right, being back at the University of Texas with a little, the hook 'em, it's going to be important for him. KD will be in the lineup tonight against the Spurs, who will be without Victor Wembanyama. Wemby was diagnosed with a blood clot that will sideline him for the remainder of the season. And now back to our top story of the day. San Antonio Spurs star Victor Wembanyama is expected to miss the remainder of the season with a deep vein thrombosis, a blood clot in his right shoulder. The Spurs do expect a full recovery for the 21-year-old. Here's our injury analyst, Stephania Bell, earlier in the show.
We do see these in athletes and in young athletes, but mostly overhead athletes. Not as common in basketball, but it can occur. The important thing is that with proper treatment, whether that's blood thinners, whether it's a procedure to a thrombolysis to lyse the clot, or even if there's ultimately a rib resection, if in fact it's related to thoracic outlet syndrome, the prognosis is excellent. And there's an excellent return to high peak performance like they had pre-injury.
So the Spurs season, it could take on a very different focus now. Maybe a high draft pick could be more of a reality than it was before. San Antonio has a 7% chance to get the top pick. They're currently in line for a pair of lottery picks. They own the rights to the Hawks 2025 first-round selection as well. Back with our senior insider, Shams Charania here. Shams, the Spurs, they just went out and got De'Aaron Fox here at the deadline. Now that Wemby is out for the year, where do the Spurs go from here?
The Spurs right now are fully focused on figuring out Victor Wembanyama's health. I'm told they are huddling with Victor Wembanyama and his representation to figure out next steps here, treatment plans. The good news for the Spurs, from their understanding and from what I'm hearing, is that they do not expect any long-term concerns for Wembanyama.
Okay.
They believe, and their diagnosis shows, that this is an isolated condition with that right shoulder blood clot. And Brandon Ingram had something very similar in March 2019. It took him several months to recover, and he was a full go for the following season, and he was an all-star that campaign. But listen, Malika, we were at All-Star Weekend. There was such anguish on Wembanyama's face after they lost in that championship game. He wanted to win that game. He was so focused. He was determined. He did not expect this diagnosis when he went into Monday and Tuesday and was taking some downtime. But this is what the tests have showed, and he will now work with the Spurs on a recovery plan.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Sham. Something you and I both know about Victor Wembanyama. He is one of the most focused, competitive players that I have ever been around. I'm glad to hear that this is an isolated incident. That's what the Spurs are diagnosing here, and that he's expected to make a full recovery. Shams, thank you so very much for your reporting. I want to bring in the rest of our panel here. Brian, when we're talking about the San Antonio Spurs, a couple of days ago, we were talking about their push for the play-in. Now I'm talking about what their lottery pick options could be. Which direction do you expect them to go here?
I don't actually think that they'll sink that much, Malika, because De'Aaron Fox, Chris Paul, Devin Vassell, Steph Castle, like, they have quality players. And plus the teams that are behind them, they're tanking for the most part. So the thing about it is as we had on that graphic a second ago, they have the Atlanta Hawks pick, right, which right now is in the lottery. If they don't make the play-in, they'd be a lottery team. So even if they don't go backwards, they'd have two chances to move up. The Hawks pick is unprotected. So they're in a great opportunity to maybe get two players in this draft without having to do anything that stunts their growth with their young players and their new player, De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, I'm with Wendy on this one. I don't see them dropping far from where they are right now. This gives opportunity for younger players to, grow and excel some. But yeah, this loss is a huge one for them. It hurts them a lot. But they have some good picks coming up. I just don't know how far they can drop. So,
right.
But Wendy, you did forget they have Harrison Barnes there as well, another Carolina guy that can help keep
Chris
them afloat.
Right, of course, my fault.
Yeah, they have the veteran experience to sort of, weather the storm. But I was counting months, during the break. And this potentially, if it is around 5-6 months, goes to August, which is not horrible because you still have enough time to get back into peak form for the start of next year.
Every diagnosis is absolutely individualized. Brandon Ingram maybe is a close comp here. Asar Thompson was diagnosed in March of 2024, and he was cleared to be back on the basketball floor in November of that same year. So, again, highly individualized, but we'll see how long Victor Wembanyama is sidelined here. In 10 seconds, Brian, how much do you expect to see Victor around the team as he's going through this?
As much as he possibly can be, and it'll drive him crazy not to be on the court.
Absolutely. Hey.
NBA